So if you've been listening to the pod going up to this, you knew that I was going to Israel to do shows. In case you haven't been watching the news, Israel went to war with Iran 2 days after I arrived. And then the news starts to trickle in. Iran will rain down hellfire on Israel. And I was like, could you guys wait? And our first thought is, go to the U.S. Embassy. And so what we said was,
Miss who?
can we go in there? Well, okay, so missiles are coming in. Can we go in to the U.S. Embassy? I think we pay taxes for that. Can I have it? And they said, no, you can't come in here. And we're like, well, oh, okay. So we start running around. We go to a hotel. And we go up to the door and we're like, can we come in? And they were like, no.
Wait a minute. You were going from inn to inn looking for a place to rest, and no one would let you in Bethlehem.
In Jerusalem.
Whatever.
Like, I wasn't freaking out. I was freaking out, but I wasn't like, blah, because you didn't know what the hell was happening. An air raid siren goes off, and everybody calmly gets up, and they go down to their mamat, which is the Israeli word for bomb shelter. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking around, and I can feel the panic attack coming up. And I look at Brian, and I can see him catch my eyes because he can see that I'm about to blow. And I just go, and I start crying hysterically because I'm like, why is no one acknowledging like what's happening? Mm-hmm. And this is horrifying, and it feels terrifying, and my stomach is a mess. And I was like, and I start crying, and the woman is like, it's okay. Look, let me get you wine. And she goes out and gets me wine like it's a whoopee. And I'm not gonna lie, it was the best thing that I've ever held in my hand. But at the same time, I'm like, nobody's ever, you guys are just okay with this? You're okay. Yeah. And I go to sit down next to Ray, and
because it's there every day.
It's there every day. How do people live like, I don't know it. And we hear them exploding overhead while we're in the bunker. And I like, my whole stomach, everything went in, and I doubled over, and Yehudis is like, you're fine, you're totally safe here, you're completely fine. It's comforting to have somebody say that to me, but it shouldn't be said. And like, this shouldn't be the reality that you guys grew up with. Like, I couldn't square that. Yeah. You know, I don't come from a place where this is what you live all the time. It's like, I can't keep doing this. I can't stay in this tense position. I was like, I have to get out of here. Yeah, at that point, I think we were like, let's get our own way out of here, because they weren't helping us. The people who brought us there were not solving anything. Mm-hmm. So this is now on you to get out of this country. So we book these plane tickets. We look up. I've never had to do this in my life. I got a Jordan visa. I have a Jordanian visa that is still good for another 23 days if anybody wants to be Erin McGuire.
I do not.
I do not.
Okay.
Nobody wanted to be Erin McGuire in this scenario. Now we need to find a way. It was 100% not without my daughter. Not without my ginger. Because I did say to the guys, I said, do not do anything without me. I am a woman that is traveling through Arab-speaking countries where they don't usually like us. They don't like Americans, and they don't like women. I got 2 marks against me, and I'm sure they don't like redheads.
This is a great song that you just wrote. I just don't know who would perform it.
Jewel.
There you go. Well, sorry.
I'm working with my own reality.
I'm sorry that it had to be
Who will see your redhead? Who will? Jesus.
It capped at number 101 on the Hot 100 list.
And then it fell down there.
That's 101.
Now right. Sean Colvin is performing it in bars in the village.
In your story, just like, oh, fuck.
I didn't
Where's Beyonce? Who's Sean Colvin?
Couldn't we get someone better?
Jesus Christ.
Lisa Loeb? Wasn't available? Nothing? So, oh God, I feel exhausted even telling this. So we have to find our own way out. And Ray is such a man of the world, and he can talk to a brick wall, which really worked to our advantage because he's somehow, this guy who organized it, organized another hotel show. And I said, I can't do this. I can't keep performing in hotel conference rooms while there are literally missiles raining down outside and alarms are going off every 2 hours. And I'm in an ultra-Orthodox hotel with no bar. You know? I can't. I was like, nothing of your self-soothing options get to work. By the way, my therapist is texting me through all of this, which is hilarious. She's like, use your skills, do your box breathing. And I was like, I'm doing my box shitting right now. That's all I have right now. I've never felt survival on this level, this fight or flight that is constant in your body. So long and short, too late. Ray finds a guy who has a company that can drive us up to the Israeli border. And his company, basically, you have to go over the Israeli border, and he has the Jordanian equivalent of him on the other side in Jordan.
So just you and the Von Trapps are now going?
Yes.
Okay.
We are fleeing in the night, and we will go whenever. So as we're trying to figure this out, everything is ramping up, and we're just like, we can't stay here until Sunday. We have to go now. We have to go now, and we will figure it out when we get there. But we have to get out of this country today, is what we decided. He calls the guy. He can meet us at noon. Why can't I think of her name? Why can't I think of her name? Not without my daughter.
Sally Field?
Yes.
How
So
dare you.
I know how dare me. That's because I fully made the joke on my Instagram. I'm 100% Sally Field in this moment. I am getting out of this country, Moody, and you cannot stop me. And I'm traveling into like an Arab-based country. It was like, I don't even know should I cover my head? Should I cover my body? I don't know what to cover of myself. And you're in the dead of the heat of the summer in the desert. And I've got like a jean jacket on. I've got my head wrapped in a scarf. I'm trying to like cover myself up because you just want to travel as low on yourself as you can. Like, you do not want to drag attention to yourself.
Not the time for Julia Roberts' Pretty Woman hair.
No, not the time for cat eye sunglasses and a tote bag that says Israel on it. Tel Aviv, like I heart Tel Aviv. You know, you don't know there's cultural pitfalls here that you don't understand because you've never had to do this before. And I didn't ask for this. None of us did. No one. So, you know, he arranges a car. Oh, so then at that point, British Airways canceled those flights that we got like hours after we got them. And now we're like, airspace is closing down around Israel. And carriers don't want anything to fly out over airspace that's like adjacent to it. So we're like, let's just go. Let's go. And whatever is flying out, Royal Jordanian, they're going to fly out. I called my friend Adam, who works for United. He's like, get on Royal Jordanian if you can, because they'll be the last ones to cancel if they're like the home turf, like airline. So we're like, Ray's like, could you pack and let's go within like an hour? And I was like, dude, I've never packed so fast.
Forget it. I don't need anything. I'm ready.
All I need is 10 pairs of underwear and I'm good to go. I don't need all of it. I really thought that in my head. I was like, if these things disappear, that's fine. I know I need my passport. I know I need my cards. I know I need my phone. And that's all I need. And a USB cord, by the way. If you are traveling anywhere, never throw out a USB cord. Bring a USB cord. It will save your life.
When you say cards, are you talking about your Garbage Pail Kid? Okay.
No, you save those cards, but you bring your cords. Anything that's from like the 90s is going to work over there. A USB cord can be plugged into any damn place. I could plug it into you and it would charge.
Oh, interesting.
So we make the decision. We're going to go, the three of us. We're just going to get to Jordan and we're going to figure it out from there. We know we have a ride there and we know we have a ride to the airport on the other side. We get in the car, we go. And this guy is giving us a tour of Israel that we would have gotten had it been non-wartime. It would have been lovely to get. We're getting like a tour of all the biblical places. He's like, so Jesus did 40 days and 40 nights there. And that's where Jesus was baptized. Fun fact, he was baptized at age 30, died at 33. And over there, those are Bedouins. We're driving past Bedouin tribes. People who are living in caves on the sides of the road in Israel. And I was like, this is amazing. And I'm trying to
And
be
then Jaws
calm.
comes out. You're like, whoa!
Did I even see that? Universal Tours is the best.
Well done!
Too bad I'm really shitting my pants because that could really happen.
It's okay because it's a real shark. What?
In the desert? Don't ask questions.
Anyway.
Dead Sea. Am I right, ladies?
Up next, Indiana Jones.
And it felt like Indiana Jones. We were behind a truck that was double-level truck filled with cows, and they were shitting out the sides, and it kept flat, like coming onto our car. And every time
my
a cow
kind of truck.
shit, I was like, I 100% understand that cow.
Yeah.
That is what I'm like. Ray, all of a sudden, I'm like, that's what I want to do. I want to shit out the side of a truck so bad right now because I would give anything for a bowel movement. My body shut down about 2 days into this. Whole experience, like physically shut down. Every biological need you could have stops when you are just fleeing for your life. And so he's giving us this tour, and at the same time, he has the radio playing. And I was like, this is a fever dream because it's all ABBA. He's only playing ABBA songs. So as he's like, so Jesus died over there, he was baptized over there, that's a Bedouin tribe, the cows are in front of us, we're fleeing for Jordan, and you hear, voulez-vous, voulez-vous, and I was like, what is going on? Like my brain.
So like a double panic attack. Like you're fleeing and then just the most anxiety-ridden music ever created.
Mamma mia, here I go
Nothing.
again.
You're like, do we have adult contemporary? Any Anita Baker? Any Anita Baker?
What
at all
about
will do.
Sade?
Yeah.
What is your
How
Pandora?
about calm? Right now, my nipples are up to my ears. Calm.
Where's the spa music? Please, not ABBA.
Do you have Richard Marx? Anything? I'll take Mike and the Mechanics for Christ's sake.
Anybody
my-
who was a one-hit wonder in the 90s.
My kingdom for the living years. Jesus Christ.
My kingdom for Michael McDonald right about now. The gentle dulcet. Do you have any Aaron Neville? Anything but this. Voulez-vous. So I have video of me doing that. I have to send out to the Patreon members. Lucky you. So you can see my hell. So I'm like taking video while this is going on because I was like, this is so unreal. We get to the Israel border. And he gets us out. We take all of our bags out. He goes, so you have to walk over there. This is as far as I can go. You walk over there. There's like a passport control area. You have to go in there. Now, nobody told us what to do after this. So we think we're going to go into that passport control place and like our ride to Jordan will just be waiting outside. Mm-hmm. But why would it go that well? It won't. So we go in. Passport control looks like an Indiana Jones scene. It's chaos. We finally, like, we stand in line, we figure out where we are, we go to get our passport stamped, and as we're standing there, Brian goes, hey, Gray Bull, to this guy. And I was like, what the hell is he talking about? He's wearing a hat that says Gray Bull Rescue. And he goes, I was just looking you guys up the other day, because he was looking for ways out of this country, and we didn't even know. And there's this rescue operation called Gray Bull, and they're phenomenal. They are former military, they're war vets. These guys are built like brick shit houses. They're like former Green Berets, former Navy SEALs. And they work for a nonprofit that I swear to God, when I make millions of dollars, I will easily donate $1 million at least to these people. What they do is they go into war-torn areas and they perform paramilitary rescue operations. Ron DeSantis, while nobody else was doing anything, Ron DeSantis in Florida gave them a whole bunch of money and 4 777s and said, go over there and get our people back. And so they were performing operations to rescue people. Now, I can't say where they go. I want to keep that under wraps because there's rules with them. And there was like, you weren't supposed to use your phone because they had rescue operations that went foul because people were posting stuff online. So all I'll say is Gray Bull Rescue. Amazing company. So he starts talking to them and he's like, hey, I was just looking you guys up, and they were in the middle of performing a rescue operation where basically they were getting a bunch of people to Amman and then Amman to a different place that I cannot say. And we were like, can we get on that flight? Can we get on your flight? Now, mind you, while we're like traveling through all of this, Ray went online and got us tickets from Amman to Rome. He just bought tickets for us. We're looking for the first flight out that we can get. And he's doing damage control. Do we want to fly at 2 a.m.? Missiles will probably be flying. The airspace is not that far from Israel. I don't think we should fly at 2 a.m. So we ran into these guys and we're like, can we get on your flight? And they said, well, the manifest is already settled, so we don't think we'd be able to get you on our flight. But go online, find our website. Turns out one of these guys who works for them is from Boston. So we start talking about Boston. All these guys have served somewhere, and now they've all sort of settled in Florida, and Ron DeSantis gave them a bunch of money to go and get people out. We go and we meet another guy who was a former Navy SEAL who had his leg blown off in Afghanistan. He literally performed surgery on himself. This is the guy that you want, you know? And the things that had to align to make things happen for us, like the guardian angels that had to be in place for us to get from point A to point B, this was total coincidence that Brian happened to be looking them up. He happened to see their hat. They happened to be talking to us. The guys got their phone numbers. And so we thought, oh, we'll try to connect with them maybe when we get on the other side. And we had a ride waiting for us, so we thought outside for us. We go through, we come out, the ride's not there. And it's chaos. There's like buses coming and going. Ray goes to like FaceTime the guy and he goes, oh, you're still in Israel. No, you haven't passed over the Jordan border yet. But we don't know this. And apparently what you have to do at that point, if anybody's listening to this and trying to get out through the Jordan border, you have to go through the Israel passport control, and then you have to get on a bus over there to basically roll 15 feet over the border to Jordan. And then at that point, something else happens. So we didn't know any of this. So I told Brian, I go over to the Gray Bull guys and see if we can at least get a ride to the airport. That's all. They don't need to get us out of the country. They just need to get us to the airport. Can they help us? We're fellow Americans, you know? So they said, yes, totally. We can give you a ride. There's room on the buses for 3 people. We can do this. So then they come back, and here's something really wild and cultural. They ask us, we line up in these lines and they say, okay, everybody raise your hands if you're American. Everybody raise their hands. No, I don't want to say anything that's unsafe. But then they said, raise your hands if you're Israeli. Nobody raised their hands. They said, let's try this again. Raise your hands if you're American. Everybody raise their hands. Raise your hands if you're Israeli. Nobody raised their hands. Because you can't say you're Israeli if you go into Jordan. But how could you ever know that? How could we ever know that? Yeah. I mean, not that we are. Yeah. We're telling the truth. We're American. But it's very, you can't talk about being Jewish or being Israeli in these sort of surrounding countries. And I think I can't even begin to scratch the surface of what this is, either culturally, politically. I don't understand what this is. This is beyond the scope of my musical theater degree. But we just know that there's certain things that you should or shouldn't do or can and cannot do in these areas. So we get on the buses with them. They load up the buses. Great. The buses roll over 15 feet. I finally feel like I can relax, like we've somehow gotten a ride to safety. And then the buses roll another 30 feet. Somebody comes on the bus and says, you have to get all your luggage off the bus right now. Go. And we're like, what? What? So we all get off the bus and we all take our luggage off the bus. And then these guys, these Jordanians, like descend on the bus and they're wearing reflective vests and they start pulling our luggage off and like running away with it. And we're like, what? And they start to run towards like the Jordan immigration office, but you don't know what's going on. And now a guy has both of my bags and he's like running with them and he's yelling at me, but you don't know what it is. They don't speak a lick of English. You don't speak a lick of Arabic, I guess. And everything, like there's no context clues in the Arabic language for you. It's not like if you go to Italy and it says toiletto, you can figure it out from there. Right. They're not using the same alphabet as you, so you don't know. And I get separated from Ray and Brian and I'm yelling towards them and I'm trying to like get them, but this guy's running this way with all my stuff. And all they are vultures that see tourist buses come in and they grab your luggage before you have a chance to grab it yourself. And then they act like there's some sort of concierge service to move your luggage from point A to point B. And then he wouldn't let it go until I gave him money. But I had used all of my shekels on this car ride. Yeah. So I didn't have any money on me. And you couldn't have known that was going to happen. This guy just rolls away with your shit. And I can't get to my guys. I'm yelling to them to come to me. And this guy who has my bags is going, and you're just like, and there's like a woman who's crying because she doesn't understand what's happening. And there's like also on this bus, they were doing a rescue operation to get Americans out of there. They were like tourists. They were infirm. They were old. There were people of all walks of life and ages. And you're getting pushed around and you don't know what's happening. And you really are in Indiana Jones at this point.
You're like being mugged.
Yes. So you don't know.
Mugged en masse.
And Ray comes up and he goes to like give this guy some coins and he's like, no. And he like takes paper shekels out of his pants and is like, this is like, I want paper money. And I was like, I have nothing. And I don't know how to, I'm saying it in English, but I'm doing that thing, that American thing where I'm just saying it louder. Like he'll understand it. I was like, no, nothing. And now he's grunting at me. I'm grunting at him. And eventually he like releases my stuff. He lets go. He realizes I have nothing to give. I have nothing. And then you go into they say, this guy comes out and he's like, leave the luggage here and come inside the building. And you're like, I don't know what's going on. And you have to go in. And anybody who may be attempting to do this, you go in and then you have to buy a visa there. But we had already gotten our visas ahead of time. So we went to just the passport area to get our passport stamped. So now you're in Jordan. But it's only 30 feet away from where you just were. Mm-hmm. But there's a whole other load of bureaucratic stuff that you have to go through in this new country. There are checkpoints every 10 feet. And we get our passport stamped. And then we go back out and the reflective vest guys try to grab my bags again. And I stop them because then the next part is they try to grab your bags and drag you to a cab. To get in a cab of some guy you never know to go God knows where.
Oh my God.
Because you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now, we did not know that our cab driver was sitting in that part of the parking lot. We didn't know. And Ray was like, I need to contact this guy. I was like, no, I think we need to stay with the Americans that are going to the airport. We don't know what's happening. And we don't know what can wait for us. And we don't know what comes next. And when you go into the Jordan border, they're all smoking cigarettes. All the windows are closed. They're wearing these military uniforms. They've all got machine guns just casually over here. I'm going to get my passport stamped. The guy's like, Erin! And he's like, Ray's like, say your name. Just say your name. I was like, Erin! And he's like, And I was like, McGuire! My name is Erin McGuire! And then you get your eyes scanned and you're just like, what? My eyes were like saucers. I was like, I can't believe all of this is happening to me. And your body is shutting down. You have no need to go to the bathroom. You do not feel hunger. You just don't. Everything is shut off in favor of getting your body from point A to point B. We finally get back on the buses. We're on a different bus this time.
So you screwed the guy that's...
Yeah, but we didn't because we ended up paying him through Venmo or like the Jordanian equivalent of Venmo because we were like, this poor guy, this was his job for the day, but we couldn't find him in all of this. There's no way. And Ray is such a good guy. He was like, I feel bad leaving this guy behind. He sat there for 9 hours looking for us 9 hours. And we paid him. And it was great that he was like thinking like that. But I was like, Ray, we have to think about our survival in this point. And these people are going where we're going and they're American and they're speaking our language and we have to stick with this. So we're making decisions minute by minute. And we're in the back of the bus now, the three of us. And now we start to go. And I was like, you still can't relax. Like, you're not where you need to be yet. And you're driving through the poorest areas of the world. And what's wild about Jordan is that, like, I think they're royals, so there's like extreme wealth and then there's extreme poverty and there's sort of nothing in between. And you're driving and you're seeing things that I was like, keep your eyes peeled because it was like you're seeing Time magazine covers. There's like a kid on a rooftop who's looking at a sunset and these blown out buildings that they all sort of live in that are just sort of like, you know, habitation areas, but there's no... It's just all it is like the shell of a place. And then you put up a sheet and there's your window. You know, that's what it is. And these you can see like where America has come in. There's like a lot of Samsung, and then we're driving and then starting to get a little bit nicer. And then I saw a Krispy Kreme and I was like, that's a sign of hope. I was like, I've never been so happy to see a Krispy Kreme in my life. And I did say to myself, I was like, Moth would come back to Jordan for that Krispy Kreme. And I don't have any service. I'm roaming. And Ray does have service, so he's like trying to find us a flight out that night, because we don't know what's going to happen when we get to the airport. And at one point, as we get closer, the lady comes on the loudspeaker and she's like, hey, everybody, it's too dangerous to fly when we get there. Because the plan for this rescue operation was they got these people from Israel to Jordan, Jordan to Amman. From there, they fly out to one location, and from there, they fly out to another location. So you're talking about, for these people who are from all walks of life, from all ages, and all physical issues, that's roughly 36 straight hours of travel. Because it's not like you're like, I'll have seat 32B and I'll have the chicken, or do you have beef? These are like military airplanes where you're getting, it's churn and burn. They're waiting on the tarmac for you. Load in like you're at a bus. We're going to get you to this point. We're going to load you out. We're going to load you back in. And then we're going to go direct 12 hours to America. There's no stopping. Mm-hmm. We're going. And so she gets on the thing and she's like, hey, everybody, so bad news. We're not going to fly out tonight because, missiles. We're going to fly out tomorrow, but they have a hotel waiting for us. And I was like, oh my God, you guys, we just like literally hit the jackpot. And the number 222 will stay in my head for forever, because we were 3 people who brought the number of their group up to 222. So that's, I know how many people they were rescuing in this one round. 222 of us. And we get to this hotel, we roll into this hotel. It's the most gorgeous hotel you've ever seen. They take out our luggage. They're like, leave your luggage. And I was like, I can't do this again. But you suddenly felt like you were with all each other, so you were safe. And they were like, keep your stuff here. We just set up a buffet in the other room for you. We walk into this room. It is the most gorgeous buffet you've ever seen in your life.
Like better than the Love Boat?
10 times better than the Love Boat. 10 times. I'm
Was
talking
Chara
like
there?
hummus, fresh fruits and vegetables, opera cake, coconut bread, made to order omelets, whatever you want. I felt like we were the kids in Jurassic Park.
When they eat the Jell-O?
Yes. But they've got like the tubs of ice cream. And it's like they had almost just died, and they walk into the most beautiful buffet you've ever seen. I was like, we're in Jurassic Park. We start eating and literally saying, thank you, Ron DeSantis. This dinner is on you. Ron DeSantis bought us a bus ride, a hotel room, and a dinner on him. We ended up getting our own hotel rooms, because we were like, well, let's not trifle with this, because we knew they only had a certain amount of rooms and a certain amount of people. Mm-hmm. But Ray went up, man of the world. He ends up getting us three rooms, like next to each other. We ate like we've never eaten before. And I got online and I told everybody that we had made it in Jordan, and I started getting a flood of messages from people. One girl goes, This is my favorite show on TV right now. I was like, we are the Mad Men of the Middle East right now. Like, people had been writing to me the messages I was getting, but I could only get them when I was attached to Wi-Fi. And at this point, I'm out of Instagram jail, so I can start talking to people. And everybody got invested in the story. It started to go far and wide. Everybody was talking about it. So I was getting a million messages from people, which thank you to everybody who sent prayers. Believe me, they all paid off, because our prayers were answered that night. We were in Jordan. We were in an amazing hotel. We had a great place to stay. We knew we had flights out to Rome the next morning, because originally we were like, we'll just sleep in the airport, and whatever flight we can get out, we'll just get out. Mm-hmm. And we went to Rome the next day. We saw them loading up their buses to go the next day. We were about an hour behind them. We get to the Jordanian airport. We go to check in, and here's another creepy cultural thing. We go to check in, and she sees that we just have flights to Rome. But I ended up booking a flight to JFK like the day after we got in Rome. I was like, I got to get home. The guys They were like, we don't know. We'll just get there. We're going to stay in Rome, and then we'll figure out our way from there. I was like, I have to get back the next day. If I can get into Rome and get out to JFK, great. So we go to check in, and the girl's like, where are you coming from? Everybody always asks you 2 questions. Where are you coming from and where are you going? And she says, where are you coming from? And he goes, Israel. And she goes, where? He goes, Israel. Where are you coming from? And he goes, Jerusalem. And she goes, okay. Because they don't recognize Israel.
Oh, my God.
I know. How could I know that? How could any of us have known that? There are cultural pitfalls here that we can't even begin to understand, is what I'm saying. So all the keyboard warriors over here that are taking huge political stances on stuff, until you find yourself in this situation and before you throw any hate anyway, you don't know shit about shit. There's no civics class that could tell you, oh, by the way, if you happen to be fleeing a war-torn country, here are some words that you cannot say.
Donut.
That is the only word you should say. Okay. If you find
not
yourself
good
at a Krispy Kreme in Jordan, I'm not good at this. I'm not good at this. So we eventually get in and we flew to Rome. And also that flight was so tense because we thought we're still flying over Israeli airspace to get out. Israeli airspace had been closed. So we're not feeling safe until we land. And it's like Argo. Or it's like Say Anything. When she's a nervous flyer and he goes, when the fasten seatbelt sign goes off, then you know you can relax. For us, it was when we touched down in Rome, our sphincters can relax. And we got through. We got out and we got to Rome. I've always wanted to go to Italy.
Did you feel calm then, or were you still on
I
like
still
the
don't
intense,
feel calm.
amazing race?
We were on the ultimate amazing race. Now we got a hotel room. We got hotel rooms. I was going to stay near the airport, and I was like, you know what? If I'm going to be in Rome for 12 hours and everything that I just came from, I'm sticking with them, first of all, because I was nervous still to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. I'm going to see Rome. I had 12 hours. We touched down in Rome. We got to our hotel room. And we went out. And we went to a cafe in Rome. And we're sitting there suddenly eating the Pope's favorite fruit cake.
That's ironic.
I
How was Carl?
He was great. You can see him in the Hot Guys of the Vatican calendar 2026. He was great. We're drinking cappuccino, and like your eyes can't believe that they're seeing Roman architecture. And like I couldn't get over. I was like, I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. I've never been to Italy. I had always wanted to go to Italy.
The voiceover that's coming out of my, she just left a war-torn country. Now, Diane Lane is on her way.
Is
to
searching
Rome.
for Prada. Where can I get a turtleneck from Gucci?
You just see the camera pan. You're just like walking across the the streets in Rome, sitting down at a cafe.
I just want to say, if Deborah Messing does not play me in this movie, then all of this was for naught. I want to be able to choose my own casting in my dystopian Eat, Pray, Love.
Okay, well, you either want Will and Grace or you want Smash Deborah Messing.
No, I want Will and Grace Deborah Messing. Okay. I'll be very specific. I'm going to have executive producer
Then
credit
let me
on
go.
this.
Do you want season 1, 2 hair Deborah Messing or like
Later. No, later. We want to relax the curl.
Okay.
Like last season, Deborah Messing, Will and Grace.
Okay.
Again, I get to choose how I want to cast this. So we'll see. And Brian and Ray better be nice to me because I'm in charge of casting. I may cast them in this film. You know, it's a lot of power.
Yeah.
As an EP, I'll have a lot of power.
Did you take a lover in Rome or no? I mean,
didn't have enough time.
Don't worry.
Had there been
Jim
12
won't
more
listen to
hours, you know, I could have found myself. I did think somebody was catcalling me because I heard psst, psst, and I was like, oh God, I've still got it. It was a trash truck. It was a garbage truck that was breaking, And I was like, I was like, I've still got it. That garbage truck wants me.
You just go over to the garbage truck and be like, I don't know what you're doing later, but
Hey.
I just escaped war, and I'm looking to sow my oats here. I'm Diane Lane.
I only have
and
2
I'm on
more
vacation.
hours in your country. Let's just do this and forget each other. Diane Lane. One of the Dianes, Diane Lane, Diane Keaton. There's going to be a Diane in my story somewhere.
Fuck it, I'm Diane Sawyer. Shit.
Voir dire is it's an honor to serve on our country's judicial system. Shut up, Diane Sawyer! Bitch! I kind of was, in the middle of all this, I was like my family's Christian Amanpour, like woman on the ground. I was like, here in Jerusalem, the missiles are flying, but we are keeping our spirits up. Missiles may be going down, but our souls are not.
During this whole time, did your mom give you the moth report? Well, I don't know about you, but it's hot as hell.
All I got from Moth was, I didn't get out of bed today. Poor Moth was catatonic all week. She was beside herself. And if I didn't take 10 years off everybody's lives who love me, then frankly, what am I living for? You know,
So it was
if
just
I
your
can't.
mom then.
My father was like, "You're gonna be all right."
No, I mean, 10 years off of everyone's, so it's just your mom. So like everyone else is fine.
Yeah, everybody else is fine. Just Moth,
10 years off of her life.
absolutely, and a million more gray hairs.
Because Jim took a lover. I know this because my ass is sore.
You know, any port in a storm.
That's right.
Any
I'm glad
USB
you
port
see it
in
that
a
way.
storm.
Great.
Yeah.
So then there's no hard feelings here.
I
at the
was
table.
like, it's up. The best part was, and this is true, I got life insurance before I came here, and that woman messaged me so many times. And I haven't emailed her back. She was like, hey, Erin, I'm seeing the news. Just checking to see if you're okay. And I was like, bitch, pay out. Pay out. Too late. You're paying out. We've paid in. I paid you $39 and we want $300,000 back. Thanks for your concern. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is really concerned about where you are in the world right now.
So you're in Rome.
I'm in Rome.
You've taken a lover with the
Taken
trash.
a lover with the trash truck. And it was like a fever dream because we're now in a place where we're like, we have 12 hours in Rome. And now we're Macaulay Culkin in every Home Alone movie. We're seeing the Pantheon. We're going to the Trevi Fountain. We're eating pasta at Roma Spirita. Like we're suddenly sitting outdoors and drinking red wine. And I did souvenir shopping. Like I had never, I was like, I need one item to remember this. And I was like, that shirt is perfect. Ciao, Bella. Ciao. You are gone from a war-torn country and you are leaving Rome tomorrow and you are going home. The coup de grace, the final period on the end of my jaunt through the Middle East and somehow ended up in Europe. I leave the guys the next day and I was like, okay, so this is the first time I'm now on my own. I can do this. I'm just flying from Rome, direct straight through to JFK. 9 hours. I can do this.
Was it emotional to leave them?
It was, because they were like my whoopee at this point. You know, I didn't know how to do anything without them in this extremely intense 48 hours. And Ray was like, it's weird that we're going to wake up tomorrow and you're not going to be you're not going to be here in Rome. It's like, yeah, this is like where our journey ends together. Mm-hmm. But we will be bonded for the rest of our lives. We saw the worst of each other. We saw the best of each other. Within 5 days, we got to know each other so fast. And it was weird to leave them. And the next day I was like, okay, all right. I get to the airport. Everything is fine. I get on the airplane. Everything is great. Okay. I'm sitting I was like, oh God, this is a nightmare. I'm on a 9-hour flight. I'm sitting in economy and an Italian family posts up next to me. And there's like a 3-year-old by my side, Patty. And I was like, I cannot believe I am on a 9-hour flight next to a whiny toddler. Well, I don't know if the kid was whiny or just Italian because the way that she was talking to her mother, she's like,
That's where a piano wire comes in handy.
I was like,
Just if you're wondering.
is this kid whiny or is she just Italian, though? I was like, is that how she talks as an Italian? Or is she going to talk like that when she's 25? I don't know. But I wanted to punch the kid within 2 seconds of sitting down. I was like, is there no God? But it got so much worse. Halfway through the flight, my body decided that was as far as it was going to take me. It wasn't going to last the rest of the flight. And it didn't help that I started watching Cloverfield on the plane.
What is wrong with you?
If you've never watched Cloverfield, it's a city under attack.
Was it the only option?
No, I watched The Ring first.
Oh, great.
I was like, what kind of horror movies can I watch that will take me out of the horror I've just experienced? And I'd seen Cloverfield years ago. I forgot what it was about. And I was like, oh, this is a city under attack and they're running away from things that are falling from the sky.
Like there wasn't a like P.S. I Love You or like Bridget Jones' Diary or It's a Wonderful Life.
So much. Literally, Bridget Jones's Diary was one of the options.
And you decided to use your flight entertainment screen for Cloverfield.
Cloverfield.
Smart.
Okay. And like they had like that Jennifer, what's her name? It was like 17 going on 70 or whatever it was.
13 going on 30.
Yeah.
Jennifer Garner.
17 going on 70.
Holy shit. I think we've gone too far. My hip hurts.
Everything. I feel the damp in my knee.
God, my vagina's like a fucking...
Like the Sahara Desert
Jesus.
that I just... Didn't I pass through the Jordan Desert?
There's just dust down there. What happened to my vagina?
13 going on 30. I had so many options and I was like, what could terrorize me? And I'm watching Cloverfield and I was like, I don't feel well and I think maybe this is causing me anxiety. So I stopped the movie.
What? Watching Cloverfield? Oh my.
Now, could it be? Now I have to go to the bathroom. I now sidle my way out over this whole Italian family sitting in economy, like inside each other. And I start to walk towards the bathroom and I was like, oh no. Oh my God, it's all happening right now. I start to walk towards the bathroom and I feel myself going down and I lay down in the aisle of the plane and I faint.
Oh my.
I faint dead away. I am over the Atlantic Ocean. There's 5 hours to go on this flight.
They threw you out of the plane?
I would have thrown myself out of the plane had I been a fellow passenger. I come to, and there's a guy, and he's asking me questions. He's like, ma'am, have you eaten anything? Have you drank? Are you diabetic? He's like, I'm a doctor. There were 2 doctors on the flight.
Do you have a gag reflex? What?
Do you like the Hot Boys of Rome calendar? Yes. Where's my luggage?
Do you do anal? I do now.
Now I do. Whatever you want. I was floppy and they flipped me over and there were 2. They were like, is there a doctor on the plane? There were 2 doctors on that flight, a woman and a man, the most gorgeous human beings you would ever see. And I was like, if you guys don't hook up after this, then me passing out and shitting everywhere is not worth it. And that's what happened next. I said, is this bathroom open? They were like, yeah. I punched the door open. I go in there. All of the hell of the past week and a half decided to exit my body. And then I start puking. And you know, as bad as it was, I will say, an airline bathroom is perfect if you decide that you're going to release everything from your body, from every hole, the front, the back, the side, whatever, because nothing is that far away from you. You know, so I'm puking in the sink. It's coming out the back end. The door, they won't let me lock the door. They want to make sure that I'm okay, that I don't faint. So they keep opening up the door. So row 30 has a front row seat to this.
Row 30 is also just passed out. So like, ma'am, if you could finish up because these guys need to get in here. One by one, everyone's pushing buttons and turning on the AC. Ding, 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 ding.
They're also calling for service.
The flight attendant's like, fuck it, just push the cart down, just give everyone alcohol. All the masks drop down.
They start throwing those airport, like little gins, aviator gins. They just start tossing them. People like, woo! It's like a t-shirt.
They're like, fuck the kid, I'm putting the mask on myself. The other one just going down. I'll be with you in a minute. just Lysoling the whole fucking plane. She's disgusting. Leave it to an American. That little Italian kid's like, mamma mia, Daria.
And mamma mia, here we go again, mama. So I'm puking in the sink, and I go to put the water on to try to drain something out, and now the water won't stop. I'm pounding it. I'm hitting the red button. Stop, stop, stop. And now I'm seeing like the puke start to rise. The water is rising. I am screaming, how do I turn the water off? This doctor is opening the door, asking me medical questions. And I was like, close the door. It's a nightmare. And here's the best part. He's asking me, do you have a history of diabetes? Is there a history of bleeding in your family? Do you feel anything here? Do you feel anything there? But I say to him,
is this a commercial for Xiaflex or something?
May experience anal bleeding. And I'm like, everybody in that commercial is dancing a cha-cha and having a good time. This is not what I signed up for at all. I thought I was supposed to be hiking and sledding like you people do in these. And he opens up the door again, and I said, I'm dehydrated. I think this is happening because I'm dehydrated. And then I said to him, I fled from war.
Oh, my.
So now he probably thinks I'm psychotic.
Kate Hudson in Get Me Off This Fucking Plane.
Deborah Messing is messing herself. 33,000 feet in the air with only the Atlantic Ocean to land in. Catch Deborah Messing. I literally said to the guy, I fled from war. But he doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about. We just came from Rome. So I was like, no, I was in Israel. I fled over the Jordan border. Now I'm like Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Are you like a Redgrave or something?
Border. Vanessa Redgrave shits herself. And I'm like, I'm shitting myself. And I'm explaining to this guy who's 2 feet away from me. It was gorgeous. I was like, I came from Israel and then I went to Jordan. I haven't had any water for like 3 days. I can't absorb water. And
there's a dehydrated, incoherent boy in the shitter.
Vanessa Redgraves looks like shit. They're trying to take my pulse ox, and they can't get a read on. And all of their machinery is going bananas because they're like, we can't find a heartbeat. Nothing is working up here. And I was like, you have to let me lie down. Can I just lie down in the aisle? And they were like, legally, no, you can't on a flight. They got me out.
They crowd surfed you.
They got me a Zofran, which I was like, I think that one of those doctors just travels with this, which was my luck. So I had to like put a Zofran, which is like an anti-nausea pill, under my tongue. And had she not given me that, I don't know what would have happened. Because then all I can see is the finish line of JFK. I'm going to end up calling Jim from Nova Scotia and being like, they had to do an emergency landing because I shit all over the plane.
At least you didn't shit yourself.
I didn't, but I sweat through all my clothes, which I've never felt like that before. I couldn't figure out if I peed my pants.
At this point, it's dropping the bucket.
Who cares? At this point,
You're home
I
now.
sweat through.
You don't know these fucking
everything.
people.
I don't know them anything, right? Except for
You're
my
like,
whole
I don't
life.
know if I pissed my pants. I did, however, just fill the entire flight with my diarrhea.
So
and
good
there's
luck.
no open window.
There's no.
Someone light a match. You can't, jackass. Tell the boy to close the door.
Open that hatch. Just open that hatch just for a minute. Clear it out. They cleared out the back row of the airplane. Too late.
I don't think they cleared it up. They're like, fuck this. Move over, sister. Oh, you watching Cloverfield?
Push everybody to the front. Push everyone to the front.
Everyone just gets up like a stampede at a concert. Everyone up! The plane kind of tilts a little bit. The pilot's like, what the fuck just happened? That little boy in the bathroom.
The ballast totally changes. We start nose diving for the Atlantic Ocean. Oh my God. They cleared it out. They put me in the back row. And that's where I stayed, laying down for the rest of the flight.
You're like, wait, can we reverse the movie a little bit? I was here when I left.
I missed like the last 15 minutes. I gotta go back.
This is a good part.
Can I watch The Ring too? Can you imagine if I really started futzing with the entertainment unit back there? I'm like, you guys, how do you change the volume on this thing?
Is there anyone that could do my nails and my feet while I'm laying down?
I had the wildest sleep on that plane after that. And you can see on the screens where I was sitting how long you had to go left in this flight, and it said 5 hours. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to happen again. I don't know if this was it. I don't know if this is a one and done. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I know that I am trapped here for the next 5 hours. And I was like,
you're trapped. How about the people that are right now?
I know. On this
side saddling on the oh, I'm sorry. Where are you from? Oh,
in this tin can in the sky, and I have just trapped all these people on a tube with all of the insides of my body from the last week and a half.
Hi, Tony. I'm Linda. I'm going to New York. I'm in the back row, but that boy passed out, and now.
And why is everybody business class all of a sudden?
You don't mind that I'm sitting here? There's nowhere else to sit.
This is the best.
Back.
I'm
anyway.
so glad we podcast today. I'm telling you, it's making me feel so.
Do you mind if we
better.
change Cloverfield to P.S. I Love You? I've already seen
it.
Can
we watch 17 going on 70? Can you fast forward through all the bad parts where they're really old? And when they said, they were like, when we touch down, do you want to go to the emergency room? I was like, I want to go home. I want to go home. I was like Dorothy at the end of Wizard of Oz, where I was like, if I ever want adventure, I won't look any further than my own backyard.
This is the shittiest version of Wizard of Oz.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
We
made it.
Just tap your Nikes 3 times. And we'll take you to security.
Urine-soaked hokas.
So I'm assuming you're either the first or last person to leave.
I was the last person to leave. I could not bear seeing anybody's face. The Italian family that I was judging mere hours before. And then the mama did the super stinky.
You've never seen people flee a
Push
plane.
For the front rows.
Get it. Drop the bag. Just go.
Don't turn around. Don't turn around. Don't look at it in the eye. Don't. Jurassic Park. Don't see. She can't see us if we just keep moving. I was the last person off the plane. I was the last person to baggage claim. I was the last person out, and I was absolutely fine with that. And let me tell you something. Thank God for wheelchairs, because I did request a wheelchair. I said, I don't want to walk through. And it was the longest.
You were the one that requested it. Everyone's like, just get her out.
Just get her on the fastest. They were like, do they have a jazzy scooter we can put her on? Do we have a motorcycle that can take her from Terminal A to her baggage claim and customs? I rolled through customs. I got home. I took a shower. I burned my clothes.
Wait, so you've landed.
I've landed.
You're out.
I'm out. With 50 new stamps on my passport. More stamps on my passport in the past 3 days than I have gotten in the last 30 years. I meet Jimmy on the other side of baggage claim because he couldn't get any further than that. He filmed me coming through in a wheelchair. If you look at this video, I've never looked older in my life. I look like a sad little old woman. I'm holding on, little old boy, and I'm holding on to my like carry-on. He comes and gets me. And I thought that when I saw America, I would cry because it was so emotional. But I was so numb. And I had cried so much during the week, and I was in such a survival mode for a few days at that point, and that just like 3-pointer experience on the flight when I was like, every nightmare that you could ever imagine has come true for you in the last week of your life. You have nightmares when you're on a plane. It's like, fuck, we're over the Atlantic Ocean. I hope nothing goes wrong. Cut to. And so when we got back home, and it took us forever to get home because of JFK. You could fly out of JFK. You could live at the terminal. You'd still need 2 hours to get to your other terminal. Mm-hmm. It's a horror show. And it was pouring down rain, lightning, thunder. I get back The littles were like, who are you? You were the lady who used to live here, right? All I could do was take a shower. I sat down on the couch and I slept the sleep. It was almost like the couch held on to me and pulled me in. I have never felt tired like this before because I could finally relax for the first time. And it was like my joints hurt and my bones hurt. Everything hurt as if I had run 20 marathons in 2 days. A tired that defied, like whatever the tired is that you've most tired you've ever been, you have to multiply it times 50. I fell asleep at like 8 o'clock. He woke me up like around 11 and then I went to the bed and I slept there until 6 a.m. And I just felt like sick. I was still sick from the flight. I was sick from everything. That blowout, 33,000 feet above the air, was my body saying, we've gotten you far enough and you can't continue to abuse me anymore. I am stronger. I am bigger. And it just did what it needed to do at that point, as it knew it was like going to safety. But it's like when you need to poop and you see that your house is right there and then your body's like, and it's like, no, but we're not there yet. We're not there. You can't let go yet. You can't. And at that point, when I knew that I was like safe and I could actually sleep through the night and there were no alarms, and I took that app off my phone because the app still thought I was in Jerusalem. Mm-hmm. Like a couple days later, I was in like Rome and I was like, fuck this app. And it was like done. And I couldn't cry. I couldn't feel. There was nothing else I could do but sleep. And I woke up the next day and I just, which was yesterday? That's the other, like time is a construct. And I have felt like everything that I've just told you happened 5 years ago and that I've been in Israel for 6 years. And the fact that yesterday was the day that I came home. No, the day before is the day I came home. So I had 1 day of rest. And here I am. And it was weird also. It was like even getting ready to do this podcast today, I was like, I should curl my hair. It was like everything was sticky. Everything, I hadn't put on makeup. I hadn't done my hair. There was nothing that I hadn't taken care of I didn't give a fuck what I looked like.
I can tell.
And it's good to know that nothing has changed with you. Don't touch me.
Like you.
So what have we learned in this Not Without My Podcast episode?
Never fly with you?
Never fly with me. Because you will not want to be responsible for me on the other side.
I'm surprised that on your bus ride, the 3 comedians didn't get up. How selfish of the 3 of you.
I know.
And didn't say, hey guys, we're just going to entertain you for the next 15 minutes.
That I didn't pick up that bus megaphone and went, beep, is this thing on? I just flew from war and boy, are my arms tired. Am I right, ladies? Am I right?
And that's how the Sandra Bullock movie ends.
Exactly. Speed. That's Roman for speed.
Oh, thank you. Oh, now you're a world traveler.
Ciao, Bella. I made it home. Ciao, Rome. I want to thank you. I want to thank all the Roman people for having me. I want to thank Jordan. Thank your airport for making me feel uncomfortable.
And that garbage truck who you had 3 wonderful minutes with that you'll never get back.
But I regret nothing. Here's to the hottest boys in Rome, those Catholic priests. I want to thank you all for this very special episode of Not Without My Podcast.
Well, this has taken us all through July, so I don't know what you're talking about.
A very special 5-hour podcast. Now I know what it feels like to be Joe Rogan, all times, all day, every day. I think we have enough content to last us through the end of the year. What do you say?
Yeah, I think so.
If I could have one uneventful week, me and young Jules, we're escaping into the woods of New Hampshire, where I will no doubt unwind, shit all over New Hampshire.
I look forward to that.
Write a book. And if I don't get a movie out of this, then the terrorists have already won. Do you have any more questions before we sign off?
God, no. I mean, no. I don't
It's his will.
I think you've explained enough. I feel like I have dirt in my hair.
You do. I feel like I am Frances McDormand in every movie ever. There's sand in the cracks of my face and in the crack of my A.
Because she put them there.
She sure did. Thank you, everybody. And follow us online. Patreon.com/DearPodOfficial so you can pay back all of the money I put out to get back to this country alive. I love you all. Ciao, Bella. Ciao.
This episode of Dear Pod is mixed and edited by Jim Ferris and is a property of Pineapple Ranch Productions.